audio.
None of that was recorded?
No.
Oh, man.
All right. So, your kidney stone.
Yeah, welcome back, everybody. Now that we got sound. Long story short, we were just talking about James took his time off, medically. Charlie took my time off medically. He had COVID, so I'm like, I'm gonna up this motherfucker. I decided to get myself a kidney stone. That's, for all the gestures and laughing you've seen us doing, it was because I did make the remark. We've known each other for going on 19 years. 19 years, man. That's family. For the last 10 years, you've been pretty adamant on, hey, Charlie, you really got to cut back on the soda. And I'm like, oh, not really. I'm a 12-pack a day guy.
It's the typical, that won't happen to me.
It's not that I don't think it would ever happen to me.
Well, if you did, you would have stopped. Or you would have at least added water.
That's the thing. That's the thing. I never drink water.
And you know what's funny? When I go through and do these TikTok little shorts, you know how many times I've come across you making some comments like, oh, it must be something in the water. That's why I don't drink it. And just things like that. I was like, oh, God, water's horrible. And I gave you that water the one show because you kept clearing your throat. And the whole time you're just like,
Well, water has become a very good friend of mine now.
I bet.
I actually had like 3 or 4 bottles of that shit today. And not even just 12-ounce bottles, like 16-ounce bottles.
So what'd you name it? I mean, you were pregnant.
Oh, yeah. Birth. Oh, yeah. Let's go. We're diving deep into this rabbit hole. Fine, fuck it.
That's a weird, deep rabbit hole.
It's a very narrow rabbit hole. Oh, very painfully narrow rabbit hole. So, that's a terrible name. I'm just going to go with Chrysalis.
Oh, God. Just the idea of that.
Kakuna, for all you Pokemon fans. That's what it was. That's what was basically coming out of my dick.
It's charming.
Yeah. Well, we're not exactly a 13 and up audio show.
I don't know what the hell. Actually, I think a majority of our fans base is like 25 to 40.
Yeah. Because they're either sitting there like, these guys are fucking stupid, or
I don't know what they're talking about.
I know what they're talking about. Yeah. Either these guys are retarded, or
like QR.
Sorry, I can't say that.
What? Like, I think I can.
I think we all can. I think being American gives you the right to say retarded now.
Yeah.
Because our government is. No. It's definitely not right, but it's whatever. It's not left either. So.
Well, that's the problem. It's too much of both.
So yeah, but no, my situation is a little bit differently. Mine is genetic. My family.
Did it come back as genetic?
Yes, it did. It did.
Was it calcium?
Yeah. But that's just it, though. It's like the diet didn't help. Let's just say it's like, yeah, I got a fire going.
Let's put it out.
Let's put some more gas in there.
Snuff it out with wood.
Yeah, that's basically it. Let's put the fire out. Nope, gasoline doesn't work. Let's throw some wood on it. That's basically what it came down to.
Perfect.
12-pack of soda a day. At my worst with energy drinks, I was at like 10 or 11 energy drinks in a day. I could kill a pot of coffee in the morning to myself and not even feel bad about it. So yeah,
I've done that before.
The non-existence of water in my diet didn't help.
Jeez.
So let's get into this one. So getting up to that point was bad, painful. I mean, just so painful. I
know. I showed up at your house with a couple things of water, and he's like hunched over on the ground.
Oh,
the first thing I could think of is when I first hurt my back, and I'm like, I know that pain.
Well, the problem was, it's like, women will sit there and say they compare it to childbirth. In fact, there are women who have given birth to children naturally, vaginally. For those of you who don't understand that, you understood every single word of that too. Without medicine. Without pain relief or anything, and they said they would rather go through childbirth again like that than have a kidney stone.
But again, that's because your birth canal is designed to stretch.
Yeah.
Your urethra, on the other hand.
Tell that to the women at home who are like, "Nuh-uh, motherfucker. You try pushing a bowling ball out of your butthole, your butthole will stretch."
Your urethra, on the other hand. is not designed to stretch.
Oh.
Not in that manner, anyway.
Oh man, I'm not feeling comfortable right now. So
It was.
So when you came to my house with the water, I was in between. I was like going through what I call them episodes. It's almost like seizures. Like the pain would just onset would come on, and it would get so bad, like I would feel pulsing in my kidney, up my back, down into my groin. My balls were hurting. My balls were literally throbbing. At one point, I'm pretty sure I felt them in my hand, and I felt. I was like, that's not normal. But then again, neither is pushing a fucking diamond out of a dick. So
It wasn't that big. You said it went down to what, 3.5 millimeters?
No, it never reduced.
You said that they.
They also told me it was down by my bladder. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, because they.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, how the hell did they get that wrong?
Yeah, they
Right.
they fucked up.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. So so I was in the middle of one of the episodes, and I was on. Thankfully, my significant other doesn't watch these, so I can sit there and say I was at that point when you showed up. I was on 4-hydrocodone within an hour, and I'm like, pain's not going away.
I think this is good.
And then finally, I'm like, fuck this. I'm going to move. I don't know. Like, the heating pad wasn't working. The ice wasn't working. The laying in the position of comfort.
Isn't that suck? Because you go through every position, like little minute, like an eighth of an inch. Like, no.
Tweak your head to the side. Oh, I'm comfortable.
Yeah, seriously. It gets to that point.
When I was walking through, I landed. I'm like, oh, there's some relief. So I want to do this. And I'm like, oh, there's more relief. And it turned into my back against the post. I'm like, oh, this is starting to feel better. And as I slid down because I was getting tired, I'm like, this is getting more comfortable. So finally, I'm on the ground, hunched over. I'm like, the pain's going away. And that's when you showed up. I'm like, this is relieving. Trust me.
Yeah, and I knew exactly what that is. I know exactly what that scene was. I'm like, yeah, I know that. I know what that pain is. Not specifically for the reason, but I know that pain of trying to find a comfortable position. And except mine was walking over at a complete 90-degree angle.
Yeah, I remember the one time.
Yeah, that was
I felt bad in my head. All I could think of was
nothing you could do.
What was the movie with? It was a spoof movie. Oh shit! The guy ends up being the back end of a horse. And he's blonde with curly hair, and he gets like a bull comes up and like so as he's walking away.
Oh,
you know what I'm talking about, right? It's an older movie, like an '80s flick or something.
I vaguely remember that.
Yeah, he's got like a gun to the person in front of him. They're trying to.
Could not tell you.
I can't.
What
Please,
movie it was.
Somebody help us out with that information.
We'll find it. In a day or two or a week.
But that when I saw you walking the way you're kind of like high stepping, wide hipping it, I'm bent over. I'm
There's like nothing I could do. It like literally looked like an old man.
That's just all I saw.
Looking for loose change on the ground.
Sir, I got a sandwich. Fuck you! I don't want your sandwich. I want $1.
Well, what kind is it? Put it down here so I can see it.
Futurama.
But that was rough. Yeah, so I knew that pain. But you got over it, right?
Oh,
all set, more or less.
Yes, I am past all the bad parts. Like
no pun. Maybe a little bit of pun.
I am past all the bad parts of
passed it with a T, and also he passed it SSED.
Oh no, the stone didn't come out on its own.
Oh, did you have to get up there?
So when I got the third time I went
give me
back,
the screw, the deck screw.
So the third time
we have that nice mental visual for everybody.
Yeah. 3-inch decking screw up your dick hole. Think of that one, folks.
Yeah.
So
no, don't.
So when
I made myself sad.
The third time I went back to the hospital, they finally admitted me for pain management. They put me in, they x-rayed me and CAT scanned me, and they come in, they go, yeah, we're admitting you. I'm like, wait, why? They go, you a blockage. Wait, what? Yeah,
you're a blockage.
The kidney stone hasn't gone like even a quarter of the way. Like it's not even an inch past your kidney. I'm like, The fuck? I was here like 3 days ago, and they said it was down near my bladder. Yeah, we're going to have to talk to that doctor. That's literally what the doctor on call said to me. Yeah, we're going to have to talk to that doctor. And I'm like,
Oy vey.
the fuck? So what's happening? Well, it lodged itself. So they admitted me, pain management. They went in, blasted it, and then they put the phone charger in me. I mean, the stent.
Yeah.
And that I could do.
So you got through that. It's good now. Blasted. Little chunks came out.
Oh no, they took the big piece out. Apparently, I still have kidney stone fragments in my ureters.
Yeah, you said that.
So I have to just
come and go.
Just keep flushing myself. Yeah.
More iced tea. I heard that one.
Green tea.
Oh, you got green tea.
That's all I've been drinking.
Oh, all right.
Green tea and water, man.
Well,
I had two sodas the other night.
Your wife said you were drinking Arnie Palmer, and I'm like, that's the same as soda. It's not carbonated.
Well, because we call it. So my oldest, who's 13 now, when he was younger, Arnold Palmer's half and half, half lemonade, half tea. He loved it. Loved it. Just could not stop drinking enough of it. Well, he didn't know. I told him it's Arizona half and half. It's Arnold Palmer's half and half, Arizona half and half iced tea, lemonade. He goes, oh, he's a golfer. It's golfer tea. So till today, he's 13, I'm 37, my 6-year-old, and the wifey, who is 34, get some golf tea on your way home.
Get the old guy tea.
We know it's Arnold Palmer's half and half Arizona iced tea, but no matter what, I want golf tea. And then I'm sitting there and I'm like, yeah, golf tea sounds good right now. But
there's always that thing for every family.
Yeah, but no.
Family.
Well, I did. All right. So the day the stent came out, fucking for the folks of you at home, a stent in your kidney sucks. They stick a tube up your pee hole.
Oh God, no!
Get
near me.
All the way up into your ureter and pull the fucking stent out. And I'm telling you guys, this thing is no thinner.
I can feel it chill like in my ears.
It's no skinnier than a fucking phone charger. It's actually, some phone chargers are thinner than this fucking thing.
I'm gonna green screen my face off of this podcast.
Where'd it go? Where'd he go? There he is. Oh, it's got a mask built in, or is that a turtleneck?
Yes. Whichever you want it to be. It's whatever you want it to be.
Whatever you say, Fred. From Scooby-Doo. Fred! It's an ascot, bitch. So the day I oh my God. Funny story about the whole process. So I get in there, because you guys will laugh at this. I get in there. Very attractive nurse. Very, very attractive nurse. And I'm like, oh, great. Hopefully she doesn't have to see everything that's going on.
Perfect.
So I'm sitting there, I'm like,
are you ready for your cleaning?
I'm like, warm Babylon Brook, relaxing hot bath. Trying to make my body relax. So
and then she starts going.
No, I was trying to relax my body so I didn't look like I was a thumb in a fucking garden patch. I would look more like maybe a banana slug. So it's like, come on, it's a guy thing. We don't want to look small. It's cold outside. Stop laughing at it.
The thought
you're in a hot tub at 104 degrees. Bitch, it's cold outside.
The thought of a wire going up my pee hole. It's just I don't think that would be probably on page 6 of my worries.
So I'm like, all right, she's like, all right, so I gotta put the lidocaine in and on. And I'm like, in what?
What? Nothing.
So I get ready and rips it open. And I'm like, oh God! Like literally, she took it's like the tissue blanket. I'm like,
oh, I've seen this movie.
I know what happens. Oh, you're not getting entry. You shall not pass. So
that's cute, dear. And there goes the Drano snake.
Robo Rudy. Call Robo Rudy when you flush the towel, or we can even help with.
No, we can't have many serious conversations. This doesn't happen.
No, we'll get to the serious part, but this is the funny part. Trust me. So I'm sitting there, and she's like, "Okay, I want to insert it." I'm like, I just Don't
The
look.
wrong person, the
Don't
wrong
ever
gender is saying that right now, ma'am.
Don't look at it. Whatever. If you ever experience this process, don't look, please. Because I look down.
Well, what you doing?
And I see what looks like, the pointy tip of like the nasal spray.
Right.
Yeah. On a tube. And I was like, oh. She goes, yeah, you might feel a slight burning sensation.
Slight.
Right into there. And I'm like, okay. So I started feeling
And you know what? You saw it happen. And that's going to be one of those things that you'll never forget.
No.
Like my neighbor and the guy fingering his asshole. That's a story for another podcast. There are certain things that you'll never forget. And he finally has his outside of his normal thing.
So
At least mine wasn't directly me.
so I looked. As soon as I looked, I'm like, oh crap! I looked up. I tried not to look. I looked down again. She goes, it's okay. Well, now I got to apply it to the surface. And I'm like, wait, what? So she pulls the tube out on her fingers and starts like this. And I'm like,
ASMR.
please don't. Like, this is.
Am I being filmed right now?
I feel dirty.
Check all four corners of the room. Like,
I don't see it.
I'm looking for the red light.
It means it's charging.
I'm searching this when I get home,
So
to see if I end up on the internet. I'm on the interwebs.
So then the whole scope tube. He goes, if you want to watch, you can. I'm like, no, I don't. Oh crap! I look down. Now I gotta watch. Oh, so have you ever watched somebody suck in a thing of spaghetti? Imagine your mouth is your penis, and the spaghetti going in is the tube, and you can't stop. It just goes in on its own. So I looked away as soon as I was able to. And he goes, well, if you feel uncomfortable, you can watch it on the screen. And I'm like, what? I look over to my right shoulder. There's a fucking television right there.
Why am I on
with the
TV?
scope. I look out. I'm like, oh, that's the inside of me. I'm done.
I don't know where to put my eyes.
And I don't give a fuck what any woman says. Milking the prostate. It was bad. Oh, my God. You want to talk about uncomfortable. I started thinking you might feel slight pressure, the doctor says. So I'm like, okay, cool. So he goes in, and all of a sudden I feel this it felt like somebody grabbed my balls with icy hot and squished. And I'm like, oh shit. He goes, that's just us getting past the prostate. I'm like, oh, okay, the pain's gone. Still uncomfortable though. It's all right. So
Not sure if I like this or not.
everything's said and done. Pulls it out. It's a quick sensation. But what they don't tell you is to keep you clean and sterilized. They also apply the gel at ultrasounds, except it's a little bit more thinner. It's a little bit more water based. But I'm covered in it. So the doctor's like, you're all done. Have a good day. Da, 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 da.
You want me to go get you a towel?
Smokes a cigarette. Says, here's cab fare. I'm like, oh, walk of shame time.
Yeah. Where's my cowboy boots?
I go, so the nurse, still the same nurse. She's over taking care of paperwork. I'm like, so I'm done, right? She goes, yep, you guys are you're all good. Doctor walks out. I'm like, okay, well, if you don't mind, I just want to clean myself up now. Got a lot of this stuff on me. Oh, no, it's okay. I'll take care of it for you. Comes right back over, fucking gloves back on. I'm like, okay, I'm done. She goes, it'll just be a minute. Are you okay? I'm like, yeah. Because I see right here, and I can see her head. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm fine.
Do you see the laces? The wall?
I don't want to look at you directly, please.
Making eye contact with you the whole time.
Dude.
Just lay back.
And then after everything's said and done, I kind of as fast paced as I could waddled out of there. I sit in the car and I put my head down. I'm like, I
don't want to talk.
it gets better.
He just looking out the window is the whole ride home, 45 minutes.
It gets better. I was like, I really fucking don't like this feeling right now. Something about me just feels wrong. I feel uncomfortable in my own skin. Dude,
Can we stop at the police station?
The stewards just out past the hospital going towards here. fuck this. I pulled in, got a Code Red and a cigar and a cup of coffee. I pounded the coffee, cracked open the soda, drank about half that, lit the cigar, and I'm like,
learning is fun.
I was like,
why were you? I don't know why I was there, but I need something to take the edge off.
I had to. I was like, I need a coping mechanism right now. Oh my God. So what's up with this Laura Boebert? Laura Boebert? Like, dude, the right. Wait, what's Biden?
Left. Learning is fun.
The left. Sorry, I keep mixing them up. The left is going at her hard. And there's a video on TikTok.
I don't know unless you...
Laura Boebert. I'm going to have to look at... I figured maybe you might have heard something. We'll have to look into that.
Maybe I did, but...
Because there's one... In the TikTok video where they're like bashing her. Like Islamophobic and anti-gay. Like they're fucking tearing her up. And it shows her at the last bit. She's got a cup of coffee. She goes... Moves her hand. Liberal tears.
Of course. No, I don't know. I don't know like what was said or what she said or I have no idea.
I don't know.
I haven't heard anything about
That's the first time I'd even heard her name.
No, I haven't heard anything about it.
But I want to know what she's doing.
No, now I have to look into that.
Yeah.
No, I got a couple things on my phone that the whole New York City private sector mandate.
Yep.
That's going to take effect, which before I realized the audio wasn't on yet, we went a whole the conversation I had on
the 41 comments TikTok.
Whoever on TikTok, which I was saying to you, that was Joe Rogan always talks about posting and ghosting and not getting involved with anybody on any social media, especially Twitter. But well, I always hear it, and it's one of those things you always hear, but you don't really apply it to yourself until tonight when I got into a discussion with somebody. I don't know who it was, male, female, I don't know.
Him slash her.
It's a them, they, Demi Lovato. So I got into this discussion, and they were talking about, it started with them saying vaccines are good, proven safe, and then my rebuttal was this: my argument isn't against vaccines. It's about mandates, and then it went from there, which I was saying before is the mandates aren't across whatever. Or I sent them a link to the New York City thing, but that's private sector, and they're like, well, that's private sector. I'm like, yeah, you're right. So I sent them the thing with Chicago, which is the government in Chicago putting down a mandate come January 3rd. If you're not vaccinated, you can't go into grocery stores and pool halls, sporting events, different whatever venues, comedy clubs, gyms, Pilates. There's a whole list of different things in different sections, like as far as public goes.
DoorDash.
But
I can't go to Price Chopper anymore.
Oh yeah.
DoorDash that shit. Uber Eats.
Well, I sent that link out, and they said, well, that doesn't affect you. And like I said, my rebuttal was just because that doesn't, it's not affecting me personally right now. Like, just looking at it, one, seeing where it can lead to, because historically, throughout world history...
You used the slavery comment before.
Yeah, I wanted
slavery didn't affect me directly, but doesn't mean it's a good thing.
I wanted to say that, but I'm like, I realized early on this conversation is going to be a circle conversation. And you can always, my classic, I always say you can get a yes, but they go right back to no. Yeah. It's a waste of time. But that was my thought. I'm like, slavery didn't affect me directly at all. But it doesn't make it right. And it doesn't make it okay, and it doesn't mean that I can't sit back and look at what was going on then or now and be like, no.
Yeah.
But again, what was the point? So and then they kind of started calling me anti-vaxxer, and I'm like, I'm not fucking anti-vax. Again, it was going back. Yeah, and I said one of my last comments, I didn't know we were resorting to a crass argument and thumb pointing or thumb poking or whatever. And have a good night. I just ended it. I'm like, all right. So lesson learned from Joe Rogan, post and ghost.
Way to go, Joe. Actually, it's funny that you bring that up because, and I won't name names, but a coworker of mine today, I saw him on the way into work. He was actually on his way out. I know he suffered for almost a month in the hospital from COVID.
That's the one you said before? There were 3 weeks, you said?
3.5 weeks.
Yeah.
His significant other passed.
Really?
due to COVID, and she was vaxxed, and it wasn't the Delta variant. It was straight up normal COVID.
It was the Alpha?
That was
the
the
first
Alpha.
one?
Yep.
That's the thing, too, is I wonder, how can they tell which is which?
I don't know.
Well, at least
But
by the
that's-
PCR test and the rapid test they give us. Like, they just say COVID. I'm like, okay, is it Delta? Is it the Alpha, the Delta, I don't know how many variants there are, but...
I'm like, I go home, dude. And he's like, yeah, they gave me the day off. Like, he came to work. Like, he was going to go to work.
But you know what? In that scenario, I mean, some people deal with things differently. Clearly, maybe that's what he needed to do, is get into some kind of routine to keep doing something.
But I'm still flabbergasted by it. Like,
Any comorbidities? Any comorbidities, like problems, diabetes?
No.
Nothing that you know of? No?
No, nothing that I'm aware of. But
Which is sad. That's
it
one.
is sad, and the fact that he's like, it wasn't even like the Delta variant or that Omnitrix. He called it the Omnitrix at first. And I'm like, he goes, whatever, it's the Omni one. I'm like, Omicron. He goes, yeah, okay, the new one. It wasn't even that one. It was just the normal Alpha variant. It was the first. He's the first strain of COVID that was hitting. He's like,
right.
And I go,
I think that's the one they call the Alpha or the China virus.
And I just like to know that, because he was for the the vaccine, and dude,
right? Yeah, like this. It has nothing to do with
And I forgot about it because it stunned me, but I forgot about it because you didn't say that before about how the person said in their comment the vaccine works. It's safe.
Yeah, that's how it started. It's been proven safe and effective.
No, it doesn't. My coworker's significant other just passed because of COVID.
One of the things I brought up is in the last 30 or 45 or something days, maybe this is November into December. It was like a month span, like 41% per New York contact tracers for Department of Health, through the Department of Health, 41% of their new positive cases are fully vaccinated. His rebuttal to that, or their rebuttal to that, was 41% still less than half. I'm like, what? And this is where I was like, my head started to spin. I'm like, this is an impossible conversation. But like, 41% is a fucking massive number. Like,
if it was 14%,
it's still a fucking massive number. 14%, according to McCullen there, Peter McCullen, in their testing, their trial runs for any vaccination, if it's a 5% like breakthrough case thing, the vaccine comes off the market.
Yeah, I was gonna say
41%. I mean, granted, that's in New York State, but I mean, that's still a fucking state. And people say, well, 7,000 test subjects. Well, New York State's a lot fucking bigger than 7,000. But New York State is 41%.
New York City.
Wrong, 8. It went down 3 million in the last 2 years because
everyone's running, getting the fuck out of the city.
Yeah. 8 million. I was shocked when I heard that.
And the best part is, A, that's one, what they want. B, I'm not fucking surprised. Like, you've been down to the city, you know how filthy it is.
That's revenue that leaves the city. Taxes and business. That's a fucking 3 million people. That's a lot of money. And you know, a majority of the people that left that city are the people that have money because they have camps and stuff up north or in Connecticut or second houses, or they have family at least somewhere else. They can leave to go.
They're getting out of Dodge.
Yeah. And the people that are left there are the ones that don't have anywhere else to go. So that's a lot of money that's leaving the city. Yeah. And I thought, like, conservatively, I'm like, I bet you like a good like 200,000, 300,000, 400,000 people are going to leave the city after that, which that's a good chunk of people right there. But 3 fucking million people have left the city.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But yeah, that's a shame that the guy you work with there, your buddy there, his wife, But again, like, I can't just go out on a limb and say like, oh, the vaccine is dangerous because of like this few people.
I don't think the vaccine is what killed her. I think COVID killed her, just like flu's killed millions, just like the common cold has killed elderly people, just like a cut on an elderly person's knee can lead to sepsis.
Right.
You know, illness is illness. Doesn't matter.
And the body, like I said with that nurse, whatever, a few episodes back, like when the nurse was talking to me and I said, you know, I barely got anything.
Oh, yeah.
COVID. But I'm like, every body handles sickness differently. Some people get nothing. Some people get slammed with the exact same thing. So who knows?
The way the spectrum works, it's always you'll find people, like you said, next to nothing or the extreme, and then you'll find 1,000 cases that go from 1 to 99
Right.
of symptoms.
Yeah.
You know, it's like...
One of the things I brought up is actually the first talking point I had for today is during that exchange was I said, I can't remember what they said, but it was one of those things that just kind of rattled off. I said, if this is a pandemic of the unvaccinated, which is pushed, or was really pushed for a while, I don't know if it still is.
Yeah, so it's definitely dwindled down.
Yeah, I've heard it a little bit, but not as much as it was. There was an article a little bit back now, is from NPR.org. As COVID patients pack Colorado hospitals, anger grows against the unvaccinated. And I read it, and it got me thinking, like, you know, and I started to, like, in my head, I was at work, and I was like, right, pandemic of the unvaccinated. If this is truly a pandemic of the unvaccinated, did I give you off the profits and stuff from Moderna and Pfizer, like what they made? The second quarter of 2021, I believe. Yeah, second quarter 2021. Moderna profited $4.4 billion. $4.2 billion of that money was from the vaccine itself alone. The same quarter of the year before, in 2020, they profited $67 million. So they went from $67 million, pandemic hits, vaccine comes out, to $4.2 billion from the vaccine. $4.4 billion altogether. Like, you can't fucking like, that's a lot of money.
That's
Here's where my pandemic of the unvaccinated argument comes in. Moderna has a patent on their vaccine, rightfully so. That's a normal thing.
Yeah.
Pfizer has a patent on their vaccine. Janssen & Janssen or Johnson & Johnson, whatever, they have theirs listed as Janssen & Janssen now, their vaccine. They have a patent on theirs. Majority of the countries in the world that are poor, third world, just the lower percentile countries, are heavily unvaccinated. Now, these poor countries can't afford a lot of medicines and vaccines. That's where you got a lot of missionary groups and everything go over there. If this was truly a pandemic and as dangerous as they want to make this out to be, why don't these companies release their patent, let these vaccines, if they're so good and work so well as like they claim to be, if they work that well, release the patent, let it become readily available and easily made over the counter, like aspirin, like Pepto-Bismol and Tylenol, and all these other things.
Like the flu shot.
Yeah, these are easily, cheaply made and over-the-counter available to distribute to these poor countries and poor nations and poor people. But no, the big money is here in America and all these other industrialized and modernized, postmodern world.
Yeah.
This is where they're pushing vaccines and everything because there's big money here. I learned that the government paid $2.1 or $4 or $2 billion before the vaccine was even in production. Like, they just said, here's the money. And that's where a lot of their profit, I think, came from this last year, Moderna is because the government fronted the money. And what happens when the government fronts money like that, now Moderna or whatever company doesn't have to pay for R&D. No research and development.
Yep.
It is completely free. So that's big money that they don't have to spend. So now the government paid for it beforehand, and they're financially involved and, whatever. So then I thought, I was like, you have all these news facets and everything with all this brought to you by Pfizer, brought to you by Moderna, mostly Pfizer. But so I'm like, does that have something to do with that? Because that would be if Pfizer and all these other companies are pushing their products on these news channels or whatever, is that like free marketing for them? I don't know. That would just be more profit in their pocket. I don't know. But I digress. But yeah, so I thought of that whole thing with the pandemic, the unvaccinated. It's like, what about all these poor countries? Like, if it's so dangerous, why are we not distributing this thing worldwide? And I have no answer myself for it.
No, well, like you said earlier,
maybe there is an answer. I don't know.
Money.
That's what it seems like. I mean, that's to go from 67 million to 4.2 billion in 1 year. That's a.
I once heard an old saying: "If it walks like a duck and talks like a duck, it's a fucking duck."
What's that? That's like how many times Like,
Well, 6 times 8 is 40. So in order to go from 267
go
million,
mathematicians again.
if you go from 67 million to 4.2 billion, it's probably an 8,000%,
It's some ridiculous
800% increase.
It's a huge fucking number.
Do the math.
It's
Fine, fuck it. I'll do it.
Okay, fact checker Charlie here.
Back taking Charlie. Here we go.
Yeah, they purchased the big thing though was just the profit thing. It's like, man, they jumped from 67 million to 4.4 billion in a year, and 4.2 is the vaccines. It just doesn't that part financially makes sense, but their narrative of unvaccinated pandemic, and then there again, all I can like firsthand I can say, well, I'm not vaccinated, I got it, and nothing fucking happened. Like, at least nothing like noteworthy. Well,
60 million times, let's say 800. No. Yeah, and almost an 80%. No. How do you figure that? Well, so if you figure 60%, 67 million is 100%. So how many fucking blocks 67 can go? Hey, that's how you figure it out. I got it. I got you now. Fuck you. You multiply that number by 100.
no.
There we go. $600% increase. You don't. No, dude. I don't care what anybody says. You don't.
That's a hell of a marketing campaign.
That's a fucking.
Brought to you by Moderna.
Yeah, brought to you by Pfizer.
That was, yeah. So I had to write that down because I just, when I heard that thing with the anger grows against unvaccinated, I'm like, wait a minute, let's break this down now. Like, if this is so dangerous, why are we doing it the way we're doing it? So clearly, if it is that dangerous, money is clearly more important than health.
Yep. Way to go.
Like, it
Way to go. Let's go, Brandon.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're sick or not, or how dangerous this whole thing is. If you have enough money, then we'll give you the vaccine. But if you don't, I'm like, sorry, buddy. Looks like vitamin C and oranges for you.
You won't get scurvy.
That's right. I don't know. So let's get off the whole fucking COVID thing.
Fuck that.
You see, Nike bought an NFT company, purchased for the metaverse.
Oh yeah.
So they're gonna have Nike shoes in the metaverse.
Yeah, I did see that. You got to buy them, and I've heard prices are gonna be like no different than normal shoes.
There was a property sold on one of these servers.
Next Snoop Dogg. You were telling me about that.
Yeah, I was telling you. Next to Snoop Dogg for $450,000, real world money. $450,000 to have your avatar live next to Snoop Dogg's avatar, which you could be a banana or something. If you wanted to walk around as a banana, you could literally. There's an open market there for people like developers, blossoming developers, to making avatars because they're going to be huge in the next few years. There's NFTs are getting huge too, and you know what's funny about NFTs?
What's that?
Gary Vaynerchuk, the guy I always watch, he said a few years ago, he goes, NFTs are going to be the future. He goes, watch. This guy's always fucking ahead of the curve. And now here we are a few years later, and NFTs were around. There was that one artist there, the Beeple or Bleeple, whatever he is.
Blippy?
No. He's an artist, and he makes NFT pictures and stuff, and the weird fucking pictures.
Oh, wait.
He sold one of his for $60 million. And he has like weird fucking NFT art, like dicks on launching pads for rockets and shit. He's got one of like Trump with, it looks like Krang from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It has Hillary's head in the stomach and stuff,
Jesus.
like marching through a city or some shit like that, like weird fucking things. But he sold one for $60 million. And all it is, you get like this proof of certification that you own the original computer file, basically.
Yeah, so for those of you at home who might be wondering, NFTs,
Non-fungible.
fungible tokens.
Yeah.
And they're not actually tokens. What it is basically it's a digital file. It could be an audio, it could be a picture, it could be a number of things, but basically it's an original copy of something that people can use for a vast majority of reasons, but you have to buy the rights to it.
The closest comparison I can make to anybody that doesn't know is, and this is a really loose comparison, but it's like playing a video game and you have to buy skins or something.
Yeah.
And that's not a real true comparison, but that's the closest thing to put it in layman's terms. It's like, well, I want that skin and it's not available regular. Well, I'll just pay $1.99 and now I have it.
Hold on, here you go. The Jolly Roger symbol. We'll use that as an example. If you look at that in NFT in a sense, let's say you're designing a video game or you're drawing a picture, an art. You're painting something, and you draw that Jolly Roger symbol on the piece of art. You have to own it, because if you sell that piece of art, you have to pay money because you used the NFT.
It's either that or get a cease and desist letter.
Yeah, and if you own the NFT, anybody and everybody that uses it, touches it, whatever, they pay you for it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where, like, NFTs are, yeah. NFTs have been around for a long time.
They've been around for a while. They've definitely been around for a while.
But they are definitely, like, fucking
But
boom.
now,
They're
it's
booming.
like one of these things, all these things are kind of like, the next few things are kind of mixing and matching and leading up to one point. The NFTs now really have a specific place because of this metaverse. Mm-hmm. Because now instead of just having an NFT, oh, it's this file on my computer. Now there's a metaverse where this is basically a giant game server. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's what it is. And now your NFT, your shoes, like Nike's thing, or your picture you can hang on the wall, has a place to go where other people can appreciate it. Because otherwise, I'd have it on my computer, and maybe I can share it on Facebook, but you face it, you only have so many people in your Facebook thing that can see it. You put it on Instagram, unless you tag it well, you're already well known. No one's going to fucking see it. No one, and even if they do see it, no one's going to fucking care. But now you put it in the metaverse. Like if I take a skin from Brawlhalla and take it out of that game, put it in Grand Theft Auto, or fucking just walk around in real time with it. Look, I have this skin for Zariel. Nobody fucking cares until you go in Brawlhalla where that community is. Whoa, that's a nice skin. Where the fuck you get that? Now it has value. The metaverse is looking like it might be huge. And that's where all this digital, tangible stuff is going to have value. Where it's not in real time, not in real life. That's why Mark Zuckerberg brought up the things you can scan real life things and put it in the metaverse. Because now you're going to have value to it. Which is interesting. Again, going back to Ready Player One, like we're all going to be stuck in our house, like doing shit in the fake universe, anything we want, and we're all going to be just completely immobile.
It basically Wall-E meets Ready Player One.
There are jobs. People have jobs in the metaverse. I'm serious, and they get paid. I don't know how they get paid real world money or metaverse, whatever, Venmo, Bitcoin or something.
PayPal,
I don't know.
Cash App.
I don't. Well, you got to be careful with all those because you'll get
taxable.
You get a 1099 if you get more than 600.
Yep.
But they have jobs in the metaverse, and I heard that, and I thought, it's like, what if someone that has like a shitty gas station job gets in the metaverse, like, I'm gonna fucking live my best life, and then they end up getting a shitty gas station job in the metaverse? Like, how was like,
Futurama. I don't want to be a delivery boy anymore. What's that? Your permanent assignment. Delivery boy? No. Yep.
But I'm like, man, what a bad break that would be. It's like, man, my life sucks, and then my life sucks in the digital world too. Like, that's horrible.
Well, maybe if you had paid the $1.99 for the season pass, you'd have the perks.
Speaking of Futurama, did you read this? And I thought it was fake, and then I heard a couple other people mention about it on like shows and stuff. Suicide pods.
Oh, with the suicide booth, yes.
And they're legal.
In some forms.
Suicide pods being developed and legal in Switzerland.
Oh. That's fucking...
Futurama.
Excuse me, I'm kind of in a hurry. Maybe we can go for a twofer.
Then there's so there's the suicide pods being developed, so you can just off yourself. It's like, man, my gas station job in real life sucks. My digital job gas station in real life sucks, and I even work for the competitor. In
my girlfriend just left me from my boss in my digital gas station job. I can't do this anymore.
He's a banana.
Who lives next to Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
No wonder she left me for him.
Damn it.
Oh.
And then
what do you do with the bodies?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
In Futurama, they drop.
Yeah, maybe they do drop, or maybe just like maybe the same from Monty Python's Holy Grail. Maybe they come off and bring out your dead. And they walk by, they just take them out of the suicide pod and chuck them into the fucking whatever cart. They can bring them away. Suicide pod. That brings up the self-coding computers by voice, so you can actually talk to the computer. It's like, have this happen here, and then the computer will just code itself by what you want or what you're telling it to do, and then it'll code itself to do. There was that, and then the reproductive nanobots. Those two stories.
Did you see real quick? Since we're going kind of dabbling into this a little bit, did you see like the Will Smith interview with the robotic nurse?
No.
Like where he gets real close, like she goes, "I don't like you like that." He goes, "Oh, I was reading that wrong or something." I was like
one of the actual robotic nurses.
Yes. Yes. Because I'm like, is this motherfucker gonna really kiss this robot?
Sex bots.
I told you, all because of Will Smith.
Yeah,
Will Smith started it all.
From what movie is that?
With
Hitch?
Fish Robot.
Was that Hitch? I think it was Hitch, that movie where he does that with what's his face? He goes, "You come 90%."
Oh yeah, Kevin James. He's like, "You don't go the whole. I felt your tongue and everything."
He's trying to do that with the robot.
You know, good real quick thought. You know, technically, humans are biodegradable. Mm-hmm. I mean, and when
no, not technically. We are biodegradable.
We're biodegradable. Well, you know the tree pods, right?
Right.
With the coffins. You ever heard about that one?
Yeah. Like you basically are part of the root system.
You basically get buried in a pod that eventually, like it grows a tree and they put you in that and then you feed the tree.
Yeah.
Imagine if
that's a hippie tomb.
80 fucking years down the road, you know, after you kill yourself in a suicide booth over in Sweden, they put you in a tree pod, and it's like somebody with a big dick, and then there's a big stump coming out of a tree. You walk by like, oh look, that tree's got a dick. That makes me think of my long lost friend who committed suicide.
Pods and like death and whatnot. I mentioned reproductive nanobots. I watched kind of a semi-side note. The movie Replicants, I think with what's his name? Everyone loves him right now. He's
Chris Pratt?
Nope. He's on. He was in. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Keanu Reeves.
Yes.
Yes.
He was in it.
Oh, okay. No, I know he's.
It was a good. It was a decent movie. It was about Neuralink, basically. It was about uploading someone's memory, or everything about them, not just memory, into a computer, and then reprinting it on a synthetic brain. That was like the premise of the movie. And then they, spoiler alert, there's a, never mind, I'm not going to spoiler alert. It's a good movie, but that's the premise of it, and there's more to it. But I thought, as I'm watching the movie, I'm fascinated because I turn to Amanda, I go, we're already fucking there. Like, we're in the beginning stages of this. I go, she goes, what do you mean? I go, Neuralink starts this coming fall. That's Elon Musk's Neuralink.
Real quick, speaking of Keanu Reeves, have you seen the newest one? The newest Matrix? Resurrections?
No.
Oh.
I heard it was a letdown.
But
like every Matrix since the first has been a letdown, so.
It's... If you look at it as a
with your eyes, yeah, you'll be disappointed.
If you look at it in the perspective of as a social movie, as Dig, I think it did all right. Basically, the whole premise is Neo and Trinity are alive because there's something about their connection. They get they're like mega batteries to the robotic world. Well, NPH, Neil Patrick Harris. Love him. Fuck you. Neil Patrick Harris is awesome.
That's the gayest one on the show.
Fuck you. Neil Patrick, really? You don't like Neil Patrick Harris?
No, not really a big fan. I don't dislike him. I just...
Oh, the dude is hilarious. Well, he's like the analyst. So if you remember in like the second Matrix, there was that old guy in the room with all the monitors.
Mm-hmm.
He's almost like a him role.
All right.
So he's the bad guy, but he's like just kind of a watcher too. So
It's like the gray character.
yeah. So he's like, you know, Neo and Trinity, like, we're not going to change this world. We're going to change the real world. And he goes, that's fine. Neil Patrick Harris goes, that's fine. You can do whatever you want. You want to know why this Matrix isn't going to fail? Because the sheep people, he's like, they love it. And it's going through, showing you all these scenes, going through all these characters, like all of them. Dude, I saw that like
Dig on capitalism.
I go, I get it. That's a dig on today. The reason why no one will ever be like the Matrix will always be successful. It's like, because here we are, glued to our fucking phones, glued to our devices.
How many times have I brought it up? We've talked about it on the show. It's and you jump from one to like an extreme. You're like, are you going to put a microchip in your head so you can do things? And most people say, fuck no. Some people I think are on board with what's going on and be like, yeah, sure. And then you break it down and you go, okay, we went from phones, just regular phones we always had on them, like the track phones, to smartphones, which have everything on it. This is more powerful than the supercomputer from back in the 60s.
Yep.
And then that wasn't convenient enough, so we put watches on our wrists. It's like this, I have my phone here, but my watch, I can get really close.
We also
that's
have...
that's not convenient enough, so...
The Google
glasses. Yeah, we have the glasses, which I think that was kind of a experiment kind of thing. Like, what can we do?
But it worked, and
the idea was there, but then
the execution
right when
was
that
bad.
came around, then you started really hearing rumblings about what if we just had in the eyes, which has been talked about for a while. But when the Google glasses came out, they're like, there might be something there. And then Neuralink started coming out and was in discussion. And then Elon Musk is all on board. I'm like, man, this fucker is going to set up Armageddon. Her Terminator's coming right around the corner. So Neuralink, and then it was announced, I don't know when it was announced, but it was sometime within the last years. It was fall of 2022. I'm like, that's not even a year away. So,
well, if that's the case, you know how they say Simpsons predicted everything?
Mm-hmm.
There's also an episode later on in the future, going back to Futurama, there's an episode later on with the iPhone where basically like they insert a piece into the eye and he goes, oh, and the screen pops up.
Mm-hmm.
Now, no one else can see the screen, I think, but then he's got time for the earpiece. It's got a golf tee.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Dude, I mean... Google glasses, iPhones.
Well, that Neuralink is going right into your... I don't know if it's going into your cerebral cortex or where, but it's going in your fucking brain.
Yeah.
Like, first off, I'm like, wait.
Wi-Fi.
Wait. So we're opening my skull up to put this thing in. Like, whoa, I'm not going to be in that line for the first few million people.
Well, much like every video game system that comes out... there's probably going to be some bugs.
There's going to be the second generation before.
I'd probably go with like the 5th gen.
Yeah.
Like the iPhone 7,
But
10.
You know what I brought up, going like to Neuralink and everything else, going back a little bit, you realize that we're possibly within our lifetime that we're going to have the ability to upload our conscious, our memories, and then transfer our fucking mind into another body. Be that a computer body, synthetic, or a cloned meat puppet, basically. Like, we're in the beginning stages of doing that. They've already, before Neuralink, they've already mapped, like, there's memories that they can map and actually have on a screen. Be like, this syntax right here is triggered, or whatever is triggered. You can see where it's triggered, how it's triggered in relation to different colors and different sites, pictures and things. They've done it with people that are unconscious. They brought things up and read their brain scan.
Yeah.
Like, so it's already been in development, but now with this Neuralink, now it's like really pushed into and just the fact that that is possibly within our lifetime, that I could be alive to see the first person consciously be uploaded from one thing and downloaded into another is fucking mind-boggling. 20 years ago, we were watching Star Wars, like Revenge of the Sith or fucking whatever, or whatever, the first one there, and watching it's like, wow, pod racing. Isn't that crazy? That'll never happen. Now we have electric cars and go fucking 0 to 60 in 1.9 seconds. The newest
Tesla Plaid.
The Plaid.
Yeah, something like that, whatever it's called.
He's gone the Plaid. You know that's where that came from. But just the fact that the shit we were watching, I mean, you go back to the 60s in Star Trek, and they had the phasers and the telecom things, and people were like, that's crazy. And then fast forward 30-some years, and we have this first, like, the small cell phones.
Gamer with Gerard Butler.
Right. The Avatar thing.
Yeah. I mean, there's that society where the fat guy is actually in the girl and like.
Yeah.
Can you imagine how? I'm sorry with everything going on. I'm not trying to make digs, but I identify as a 16-year-old female, and I go into.
And we already fucking brought that up. You can change your age now.
I go into the society, and I actually lived through a 16-year-old girl, and it's like, oh look. Well, you know, I'm going to change the ages because I'm going to go a little dark here. I'm a 25-year-old woman, and it's like, oh, look, I have things to play with.
Yeah.
This is what being a female's like. Yay!
And think about this, too, like going back to the metaverse.
But you can like, you can control them. Like, you augment. Yeah.
Going back to the metaverse, when we play different video games, you can create your own character. How many guys make women? Now we go into the metaverse.
Dusty Dad.
And there was, perfect example.
Oh my God. I spend hours every day playing video games. I don't want to look at a dude. I want to look at a chick's ass.
And we're both like, that's a viable point.
I remember like, fuck, I want to change my character.
Right. And now you can.
Yeah, I know.
It's
for
not even that
$100,000. That's it.
Going back, though, to that, you could have people make their avatar in whatever metaverse, whatever server, or any competitor that comes up with this digital world.
Yeah.
And they could pose as a female and then get men, and they think there's already been a marriage in the fucking metaverse. There was a marriage in the metaverse. I will find it. I'll find where I saw it or read it.
Please tell me it's
and I'll
people
send
that
it
are
to
married
you.
to other people in the real world.
Yes, but they mimicked it in the metaverse. But there's been
it's the husband and wife in the real world. They're the same husband and wife in the metaverse.
I believe so. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because what I meant is like husband and wife.
Oh, wouldn't
husband and wife.
You
and
know that's gonna happen though.
Oh yeah.
You know that's gonna happen every time. There's a Grand Theft Auto Facebook fan page, and you know how many guys have been there? It's like, oh, this is my Facebook boo or whatever.
What?
Oh yeah.
I guess
they're on GTA, and they're a couple in GTA. Probably never fucking met each other in real life.
I had a work wife.
Now maybe that's presumptuous, and they have. I don't know.
Sam from Kanjo, remember glasses?
No.
Yurden?
Oh yeah. All right.
Her mom, Terry, she was my work wife at Target.
Oh.
She was awesome. I love that old girl.
But you had conversation with her in real time, in real life.
Saw everything. I didn't really see everything, but for an older woman, her boobs were big and they never went down. I'm not even a boob guy.
Stares off into the space.
Terry. My work wife. You got my love, darling.
I made a connection. I was looking
in the metaverse.
Yeah, it was. We were the first ones married.
I was asleep for it. So it wasn't legally binding.
The self-coding programs.
Yep.
The suicide pods.
Yep.
Along with the whole metaverse thing, the NFTs, nanobots, the nanobot technology thing, which is a real thing. Self-replicating nanobots. They reproduce. Nanotechnology that reproduces now.
Hold on. Do you remember the movie The Island with Jude Law? And Michael Clark Duncan? They're the clones. They are in a facility because the real world was bombed or radioactive, but there's one place left that's untouched by the radioactiveness. It's called The Island. Check it out.
Radioactivity.
It's... Oh, God. It's My Kidney Stone story meets your nanobot story.
Wait.
There's a scene where the one doctor injects nanobots into Jude Law because he's having these visions that aren't his because he woke up in the facility because he was rescued.
Right.
So he ends up later on escaping the facility to the real world, which isn't in shambles. And he's at a truck stop or he's at some place. He's peeing into the urinal and you see the nanobots coming out.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yep. Oh, whoa.
Well, that's not nanotechnology, but
That's just pissing BBs.
yeah. Let me open this up. I'll just kind of see if I can skim through this. This is in SciTech Daily. Xenobots. Scientists build first ever living robots that can reproduce. This is out of the University of Vermont.
Do they need a human?
November 30th, 2021. AI designed Xenobots reveal entirely new form of biological self-replication, promising for regenerative medicine. To persist, life must reproduce over billions of years. That organisms. Now scientists have discovered an entirely new form of biological reproduction and applied their discovery to create the first ever self-replicating living robots. These Xenobots can go out, find cells, build copies of themselves again and again. So we're talking about robot technology that's the size of single...
A molecular level.
Well, not quite that small, but fucking small. Size of cells. I read that, and then after I actually read that, then the whole thing with NFTs and the metaverse, that really started to pick up. And I'm like, I see two different possible futures developing at the same time. One, you have AR. It's augmented reality.
Yep.
And then two, you have the Terminator fucking reality, where we have biological nanobot technology replicating itself, building itself. Seriously.
We can go Ready Player One or Terminator 2. Take your pick.
But seriously,
I'd rather go Ready Player One.
We're talking about nanotechnology on the size of a cell, building itself, finding, how long until it becomes a multi-celled organism. That's a complete biological fucking robot.
And with
what's the word I'm looking for? A cyborg. There we go.
Well, sorry. So the problem with that is, when does it stop? Like, does the programming stop? Like, I'll have to look into this, because does the programming say to just self-replicate the injured cells to heal them? Or is it like...
I don't know. This is the a lot of this stuff we're talking about today is the beginning stages of stuff. So where does it stop? I don't know. But that's where the whole thing with human cloning came in. Like, where do you stop that? And that's when they came up with the whole, well, you're not going to fucking clone somebody and have a new person, because then you can... Well, I don't know what you can do with them. You clone a whole new person. What the fuck are you going to do with them? But again, you can upload their conscious and put it into a new person.
I do think of a few things to do with it.
You're gonna have a female, and you're gonna put your conscious in a female, like in Grand Theft Auto.
No, I'm not gonna put it's not my conscious that I'm gonna put in the female.
I don't need a self-replicating robot nurse.
It's not my conscious I'm gonna put into a whole recreated female. I'm gonna make 6 more of mine, and
you're the banana guy next to Snoop Dogg.
One of them's gonna be a yes man kind of person. Yep, I'm the banana. I'm a banana. Remember that fucking video?
Oh, Jesus.
What? I'm a banana. What are you talking about? I'm a banana.
What happened to your clothes?
Yeah. I'm a banana. Look at me.
That's like 10 years old or so.
That's older than that, bud. We were in college.
2000. No, I heard it in 2011 from Ty. He brought it up. I was at Dozen Dan's.
No.
Yeah. Well, that's when I learned about it. I don't know how old it is, but.
Oh, God.
The next thing.
Charlie guy.
The next thing I told you about already was credit scores being affected by your browser history. That's by Forbes.com. Credit card news, federal rules coming out for crypto. Your web history may soon affect your credit scores. I want to know how.
I'm in trouble.
And I want... my credit score dropped 200 points overnight.
The hub said it didn't have cookies. I don't know what happened.
Fucking
TikTok.
Is that too much though?
Yeah, I believe it is.
Credit scores affecting your credit,
your search history affecting your credit score. That's way too much. That's way too.
My
far.
question is why?
Why is it too much, or why would it affect?
No, why even connect the two?
Okay.
Look at Epstein. He's a sick fuck, and he had many connections with powerful people, and he had money. Like, would he have bad credit? Would he be able to buy a used car?
Probably not.
Well, he had a lot of money. He could just do it in cash,
Yeah.
but
The only thing I can think of is conditioning. Classic conditioning. You're trying to get people to stop looking up useless shit and be productive. So if they see in your search history that we both have it, the tendency to hobby jump or interest jump. Because everybody can have 1,001 interests, but the ones that really stick, like this started out as an interest. Then now it's become a hobby, and I thoroughly enjoy doing the podcast.
I love this shit.
Fucking hell yeah, brother. But
It's like the easiest content to put out.
yeah,
Not as much work, but
I was gonna say the source income is never ending.
yeah. It's really not. If you just pay attention to shit that's going on in the world, be like, okay.
But hold on one second. Yeah. So, well, so like if it shows that here you are like researching colleges, researching better jobs, like if your search history shows positive reinforcement, your credit score goes up because you're not sitting there searching what does it look like to watch two midgets have sex.
So it's basically a soft version, which China's already doing. You hear about their TikTok and social media thing. All right, so if you're 14 years of age or under, social media shuts off for your personal device from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m., I think. So because for a younger person, if your friends are all online past 10 o'clock and they're commenting on something and you're getting notifications, you want to look to see what they're saying, right? Right. If they shut that off for everyone from a certain age group down, now it doesn't matter.
You go to bed, get a good night's sleep so you're well rested for school the next morning.
On TikTok, what they're doing on TikTok is a couple of things. One, on your algorithm, you have a bunch of random useless bullshit, right?
I have everything.
Like you scroll, you have your regular bullshit that you have, and then every now and again there's something in there that's like, that's not like but it's another useless bullshit thing.
Yeah.
In China, what they're doing is as you scroll, every 5 or 15 something scrolls, there's basically they have a break, and it's you can't scroll for like 5 seconds, and it says you haven't gotten up in a while. Do you want to get up? It like makes you think about getting off, because how often have you just sat and scrolled for 30 fucking minutes? Be like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Everyone fucking does that.
Yeah.
So that breaks up that monotony.
That's why the Matrix will work.
But what it also does is instead of having like some broad shaking her ass around in like Daisy Dukes or something like that, what it does is it has their algorithm. Here's at-home science projects you can do as something. They have things that are nationalist things, like loving your country, this and that. They're training their younger youth to be fucking way stronger than the American youth, because let's face it, everything we're in contact with, the American youth is fucking shot. I mean, I know our elders said that about us, but all you have to do is just look at generation to generation, and it just fucking just slowly goes down and down. Like credit, test scores are lower.
There's always... There's always going to be the handful of a generation that does have a ray of hope.
Of course there is.
But
as the general like populace, that group just gets the
maybe
no child left behind bullshit. Like you can fail your way through high school.
Yep.
Like there's a saying, you fail your way to success, and that is 110% true. If you want to try something new, you're going to fuck up over and over and over and over again, but this is the only way to learn. That's different than little Johnny's taking a test and he can't pass it. Well, we'll drop his mean score, or we'll drop the mean score so he can pass with the rest of his kin and the rest of his peers. So now he's pushed out into the work world where he thinks if he goes to a job, well, if I can't do it just right, that's okay because I'll still get by because that's what he was around in school all the time.
Yep.
But then he gets into the real world and his boss is like, you're fucking up. Bye. And now little Johnny doesn't know what the fuck to do.
His feelings are hurt, and he sucks Dr. Shotgun.
So he gets on TikTok and he said, Zim's there.
Z said that Zai. Wait, what?
Yeah.
How many plurals are you using? Probably now pronouns. Sorry.
Who the hell knows?
No, I could see in that instance, maybe that's not a bad idea. Because if it's like,
Well, that's what I mean. Like you talking about trying to control populace with the whole credit score and
the control, like conditioning, like
If-
we want you to think nothing positive. So if we see that you're searching all positive shit, like you love
You'll
your country,
get 10
you
extra
wanna-
points.
Yeah, how to save money for long-term investing, how to work the stock market, how to better educate yourself, stuff like that. Like I could see like them being like, all right, well, let's bump his credit score up because he's at least trying.
Here's where it gets dangerous, though, because a lot of these like banks and everything else obviously have sponsors and obviously have political influence. That's where lobbyists come from.
Oh, yeah.
That's where lobbyists, that's what they are. Now you have, like right now, we have a Democratic president. So if someone is searching Republican means of doing something,
Yeah.
what about that? And then, but to be fair, on the flip side, because fucking Republicans are not fucking scot-free here. They'll do the same thing. And like I've said many times, go back 16, 17 years, in 2004, we had the exact same shit, except it was Republicans in office. Well, we don't want you saying this thing. It's for the good of the children. For the children. These people that are sitting on their high horse, thinking they're better than everybody else, and pushing these censorship things because they don't like what's being said about them or their peers or whatever. It's like, well, we have to censor all this shit. What are they doing? Well, they're doing it very vulgarly. Howard Stern.
Yeah.
And what's his past been 20 years before that? Fuck. Let's censor him. And that's why he went to satellite radio.
Yep.
Because they were coming down hard and censoring everybody. Opie and Anthony and everybody's being censored.
Oh yeah.
And everyone forgets about that. And then we're talking about the left is censoring everyone, which I'm dead set against. But let's not forget, this same thing happened on the complete opposite end of the spectrum less than 20 years ago.
It's just, all it is one big vicious circle. Happens every so often. Doesn't matter who's in the office or who's doing what. Every 20 to 30 fucking years.
It's not even that. It's just interest. Whose interest is in mine? And I'm like, the whole thing with Trump, and he was for the vaccine there, and he was being booed.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't matter who's in office. If they're gonna push something, they're gonna push it no matter what flag they're flying. And a lot of people, well, not a lot. There was a group of people that were booing him, which who didn't see that coming? I mean, Trump was praising the vaccine when he was in office, and even out of office, like, I took it, but you should have your right to choose. Well, that's fine, but
I agree.
that you should have your right to choose whether you want it or not. But how far would that go? I mean, right now he's saying what everyone wants to hear because he's not in office. So wait and see. Like, maybe he makes a push for office again. I really think it'd be Ron DeSantis, but maybe he makes a push and gets him. Let's say he gets back in office.
Howard for president.
Oh God, maybe he gets back in office in 2024. What would happen then? Would he become the new Biden? It's like, we need these mandates because this thing's getting out of hand. Like, it's hard to say.
It is.
He did a lot of things right, but his mouth got him in trouble. His Twitter fingers got him in trouble.
See, but that's, well, like you said, I don't know. Twitter's a grain of salt kind of thing for me.
I'm on Twitter, but I don't actively do anything on Twitter. Like, I have it. I sometimes scroll around. It's interesting. It's like closest to the Wild West for social media as you get. Because there's so many people. It's like, fuck that guy. I don't know what he said completely, but I don't like those first three words. So
Fuck that guy for saying fuck that guy. I can't stand people that say fuck that guy. So fuck
everybody's yelling.
that guy. Loud noises.
You see the Ghislaine Maxwell sex trafficking thing? What was it? The wife of that expression says no. The wife of I think it's the wife of Jeffrey Epstein. and how it came out that she was apparently going out and recruiting these women, the underage women, and prepping them and grooming them to be served up basically to all these fat cats and rich heads.
Adrenochrome.
Yeah, adrenochrome. Well, that's something else. That's a whole other topic.
I know.
But yeah, so she's in federal court right now. So there's nothing being said and what's happening because like in public court, like the next one is the Jussie Smollett, that fake racist attack there.
Oh yeah.
And Rittenhouse and all those you have cameras in the courtroom and testimony, and you can actually see what's going on. This is federal court, so you can't see any of that. There's no one in there. So everyone's like, "What the fuck's going on here?"
Yeah.
Like, is she even being prosecuted? But like, she's just in there, like, listen, judges, take this 15-year-old, do your thing, and
she's being prosecuted, all right.
Right.
All night long. In her butt.
The Jussie Smollett or whatever, the fake racist attack. Yeah. I actually watched that one pan out through it all. And at the end of it, when he came out to be guilty, or right before he came out to be guilty, everyone was talking about like, how the hell is this not fake? There was a video when the cops showed up at his pad, and he had just called on a 911 or whatever. The cops show up there, and he has the noose still around his neck. And the cops are like, "Do you want to take that off?" He's like, "Oh, I just wanted you to see that what they did to me." Now, maybe not everybody, but I know. If I was jumped and the noose was put around my neck and allegedly gotten the shit kicked out of me,
while yelling racial hate slurs.
After they had left, the first fucking thing I would have did was probably take the noose off my neck.
Oh, but
I'm not going to use it as a fashion statement.
What about all those keyboard warriors out there that are probably thinking to themselves, "Well, you would know. How do you know what you would do in that situation? You're anti-gay."
And that's why I said probably. I'm defended.
Good disclaimer.
Yeah.
I like it. Taught you well.
But you know what's funny? After it came out, there was so much against him. Like he paid for those two people. He left a fucking paper trail. He paid them by a check. He worked out with them. Those two were like bisexual lovers or something like that from a gym that he worked out with them with, which has nothing to do with the case. But just the idea of that. Just like, hey, you two, I need you guys to kick my ass. And they're like,
is that code for something? Because they'll do it to your ass. Like what?
He paid these two, left a paper trail, left a noose on his neck. When it came out that he was guilty, it was 5 of the 6 counts of not perjury. I can't remember the fucking. This is like 3 weeks ago now, so I can't remember what it was. But he was found guilty. It was fake. There were still people on the left that says, "I still stand with Jussie because it still exists." I'm like, that's not the fucking way the legal system works. You can't take one case and because the idea that you have is like there's still racism out there, so he's innocent in my eyes. Like, no, he still fucking lied about what he did. You can't just say, well, he's innocent. No, he's guilty. Like Rittenhouse, he was innocent. Like the Aubrey there guy, that case we talked about before. The black guy that got murdered by the 3.
Yes.
He was murdered. Those 3 were they were found guilty. You can't just like block shit out because you don't like what it says and it doesn't fit to what you're screaming about.
Doesn't fit the narrative.
No.
If it doesn't fit the narrative, nobody wants to do anything with it.
That's not the way reality works. Like, he fucked up. He's in whatever. He fucking, I don't know if he's going to jail. I think it's up to 75. No, it was up to 15 years. Yeah. It was like 3 years per offense. So we got 5. But yeah, so fucking.
That's fucked up, man. It's
just the fact that like the broads on The View. That's the biggest thing. Watching like Whoopi Goldberg. Which I sent it on the group chat. I found out Whoopi Goldberg's real name is Karen Johnson. Karen Johnson is Whoopi Goldberg's real name.
And Ty's like, that suits her.
Yeah. But like Whoopi Goldberg and whoever else is on The View, like they're still going off about like, well, these women, I still stand with Jussie because all this bullshit, whatever.
Yeah, no, pass. Pass, hard pass.
New York City Council council enables non-citizens to vote in city elections.
Yep, I did read about that one.
What? Like, how? Why? We talked about that before, like all these illegals coming over, and there's still people evidently coming over, even though the stay in Mexico policy or whatever had been reinstated. But there's still people coming over.
And the fact of the matter that now they can vote for an American electoral process. They can vote in an American electoral process when
that suits them.
When it clearly states you must be a U.S. citizen to vote.
Right. And you got to wonder when they went back and said that when the right wanted to push for identification, voting IDs, and they said that's racist. Does that fall in with what they're doing now? It's like, well, you don't have to be a citizen to vote. Like, well, I think you do need to be a citizen to vote.
Oh, that's the Constitution.
Fucking this country. But why is it racist that you need voting IDs? That still was never clearly explained. There's people that argue all the time, well, that's racist. That's great. Let's go beyond your first statement, though. That's racist because, and then have a logical argument. How is it you have to have ID to get alcohol? You have to have ID to get a gun. You have to have ID to drive. You have to have ID to have cigarettes. You have to have a fucking library card. You need ID to get a book.
Yeah, so you need an ID to get a library card.
Why is it racist to get an ID to vote for political leaders?
I don't fucking know anymore. So fucking fed up with it.
And the last thing I want to bring up is our national debt just hit $29 trillion. This is like 2.5 weeks ago, so who the fuck knows? Probably $30 trillion down. $29 trillion at that time, whenever I looked it up. And I found a counter in live time. It counts the debt. And I'm like, well, that'd be interesting to see. If you fucking worked up about money, don't go watch it. I watched it, and it was like watching it like the numbers, the dollar sign and like the $10 sign were it was like what? It was crazy. The amount of money that was just dropping and dropping and dropping. Like, wow. It was like 29.7 some trillion.
Jesus. And we're capped at 30, right?
30 or 31, I think.
Did they ever come out with that $1 trillion coin?
No, I don't think they did. I didn't hear if they did. I didn't hear anything about it. But I know Biden just came across my phone earlier. This signed that $798 or $748 billion military defense spending or infrastructure budget, something like
Jesus.
that. Which the military gets all the money they need, so that's not really a surprise. I was just like, well, I just looked at it, and that wasn't like really a jarring thing. It was more of there's more money. And at this point, let's just keep printing it.
That'll take care of it.
No.
We'll print more and deposit it into our own account.
Yeah. I'm going to do that. I'm going to put my can, whatever that can is from that show, my $1 trillion can in my account. Still have to do that. Well, buddy, it's good to have you back.
Hey,
now that your pee hole's not burning off and everything, and you're not giving birth to whatever.
Yeah. The fucking...
It's a pool boy. Just gave you... Oh, look at that water down that gullet. Yeah.
Not you.
All right, humans.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching, and let's hope that Charlie doesn't get birthed out of his dick hole anymore.
No pee hole burning.